Yeah, baby. Babies. I am dreaming reality. I had a little bit of a glitch there. Let's see how it goes. Judge no one, lest ye be judged. We all know that, right? For who are you? And who are you? Me. For you? So, today is July 25th, 2020, here in California, where I reside. Just like yesterday and the day before, what is real and what is lies? Always ready. I stand with you. So, I don't understand why we don't create money for every emergency. Just gonna put that out there. There is an abundance of tending in need. Money leaves behind so much unfinished. The end of the line. Come on now. This virus. The next virus. The virus. When does it end? This virus became an emergency and money was created. It was. It wasn't there before. Now it is. It's money owed, but hopefully well spent. And so I ask again, why is money not being created for all the other emergencies out there? How about housing? Ending starvation of any kind? Yeah. Do the right thing for the good of all. So hi. How y'all doing? How y'all been? I'm Joseph. And if you're here, you're dreaming reality with God. I am dreaming reality with God. It works for me. All I need so judge no one, lest ye be judged. You understand what that means, right? I think it means when you do judge, because we're all doing it, when we do when you do, it's important, I think, to remember to acknowledge, I feel it's truth, that in that act, you have become a mirror with whatever it is you're interacting with, whoever is being judged. And in that moment, there's a part of you, the one who is doing the judging, who is accountable for who they are, everything. That's the best way to be accountable for everything that you are on some level. And you can hide from it. You can deny it, ignore it. But we all are judging. And I don't think that in that process we're putting every variable into the equation. We leave out self. Because that's a part of the equation that's solved, I suppose. It's a known variable for the self. I know what I know. A mirror. We are all mirrors. There's all aspects of all of us. May not have gotten to that realization in the same way. The same external events were not the same. The physical world around was different as it unfolded. But nonetheless, a feeling, a thought was found. There's more than one way home. I like to think we're going home in that there is an awareness of familiarity. What this is has always been. It's always been there. Even if I didn't see it, even if I didn't recognize it and acknowledge it, it was still there. So we're all mirrors. And when you judge another, you cannot hide all those things that make you you, or have you been held accountable for all those things that you have done, have been, have thought. Because our thoughts make us who we are. And I pretty much guarantee you, if I spend so many hours a day thinking about a certain topic, then you can go from there pretty easily. Who are you to judge another? To judge me? To judge anyone? When does that become viable, acceptable? Because clearly one needs to use discernment in order to move through the world, this world that I am presently in. Judgment calls, Do I cross the street? Do I stay and wait? On and on. This is a different type of judgment. I feel that I'm in discussion about. This is judgment of another. What is that? That's viewing another as there's discrepancies. There's missing bricks. I can go on and on. Trying to keep this flowing. It's very important. Because there's a lot of this going on right now. Judgment is going on. I'm wholeheartedly convinced of that. This is judgment. We're in it right now. Judgment Day. I think we're being held accountable. I think the world is being held accountable. I don't know how aware you guys are of what's going on in the world right now, but China ain't been doing so well as far as natural earthly elements go. Lots of flooding, water. I think if I were to have a dream, with that nightmare, I guess you'd call it, it never gets that far for me, but because it ends. But up to that point, there's that nightmare, fear, and it's being out in the middle of the ocean. Just finding, that's your condition. However you got there, just that's it. In the water. No boat, no, just you, alone. I haven't dreamt that in a while, but that's one of the reoccurring ones I can say I've had. There's going off the edge of the mountain, driving along the road and off the edge, and then there's the flying and falling. It's kind of a yo-yo, I feel, when I have those dreams between falling and flying. But I'm starting to ramble now, and I want to stay on topic. I have written down a couple things I don't want to forget. The judgment, though, I think is a very key thought to embrace. It's a big part of what's happening right now. May not seem that way. There's so much. There's more than just this virus, which I tend to try and not focus on so much. I'm aware that it's there. I mean, I could go on and on about it. I'm fully aware of what's going on in the world. I mean, my thoughts may be out there on some other plane, but I'm also grounded, and then I'm very aware of what's going on in the world. I just mentioned China. They're having flooding issues. There's been some earthquakes, and then there was the insects. I mean, record-breaking type stuff going on over there. I don't know. Karma's a weird thing, isn't it? Just seems like that. I've seen pictures of hail. They've had hailstorms. Some of the hail that I was seeing pictures of looks like kind of like the virus. Got those spikes coming off of it. It's like, is that real? I have no way of verifying that. I wasn't there. Saw the pictures. If it is real, that's some pretty bizarre. It's like, what's it gonna take to wake people up? That we're not in Kansas anymore. How else are you gonna say it? What better way to say it? Kansas? Where's that? And I think that things are moving so fast that before long, Kansas will be a long forgotten memory. There won't be any more Kansas. Just seems like that is the future. I mean, I'm already witness to the states, and there's this friction between the federal government and the state government and county and city even, right down to the mayors. I'll keep all my political thoughts for, how about the next stream? The next stream I do, I'll go more political in my thoughts. Like I said, I'm very aware of what's going on in the world right now. I know it's a presidential election year. Donald Trump versus Joe Biden, whom I have competency issues. I mean, is the guy cognizant? I've seen video, I know it's easy to manipulate video and stuff, but I mean, some things just seem like they are what they are. And there just seems to be a little bit of lapse and memory going on there. Some pauses. That's cool. I pause. Thinking about my thoughts. I'm going slow. All my posts, my streams, it's not meant to 60 seconds and a magic wand has been waved. Which brings me to a thought that I thought earlier today. Should I share that thought or keep it to myself and just see what happens? But I look to the future, I see the future, and from where I stand, it just seems like an awfully lot of people are not going to make it. They're just not. Money. Let's bring it back to the whole money thing and creating money out of thin air, because that's what's been happening. These stimulus checks, all Americans have been receiving this money to help. I think there was a lot of excess given away. I'm not saying people did not need money, but clearly there was an incentive not to work for some. That was just obvious, the amount of money that was being given to them. It's like, wow. The whole money thing. Makes no sense. And here's an emergency, we're told, and therefore we're going to generate all this money out of thin air. Press some buttons. enter in some numbers, and there it is. There's the money. Not once, but twice. On a grand scale. So far, who knows? Maybe there'll be a third, fourth. Like I said, who knows? This is all insane, and it makes no sense to me, because I'm asking myself, well, if all this money can be generated just out of thin air, trillions of dollars for an emergency, how come we can't do the same thing for all these? I'll just keep it, I won't even say all these, just a few of, a couple, two even. Two is fair, two is good. Two on the top 5 emergencies. Housing, and starvation. Feeding, making sure everybody's fed that needs to be fed. Those are the top 2. And they are an emergency. They need to be solved once and for all. It should not be an ongoing issue from this day onward. It's an emergency. So we're going to take this money and we're going to solve these 2 problems. Which is, there's not a person that can look at me with a straight face and say, there's no way we can do that. Because they're full of it. They're selfish. They're short-sighted. They're not looking to the future, really. I mean, these people use, and let me finish the thought before you jump to conclusion. But many use the future, the children, as, or you don't want to lay all this debt. It's not fair. Maybe that's a good way to put it. It's not fair to the future to do that. I'm kind of at a crossroads with that ideology, whatever you want to call it, because I understand it. Made sense, made sense. But I'm also beginning to see that maybe that's not, or doesn't have to be the only way. By spending money on an emergency, creating this debt that this must be paid, is now owed, which the price tag is so incredible that it'll take many generations to resolve. Short of a miracle, because anything's possible. Who knows what the minds of this country can come up with. There was ever a place for such incredible ideas to flourish and bloom, it is the United States of America. Although that's quickly being disbanded, people need to be very careful what you wish for. That's something in my nose. Took a bike ride earlier. I got something in my nose, and it must have been a bug or something. Who knows? Remnants. There's. I'm rambling again. And I'm very scattered. I'm scattered. I'm all over the place. A little of this, a little of that. That's why I think I mentioned a moment ago that my streams, my videos, there's no 60-second video that just the magic wand, that this is going to take time. And that led me up to this feeling that a lot of people aren't going to make it through what's coming. The future. Because of the money. The money. Everybody wants money. Matter of fact, most want a lot of money. Am I wrong? The more money, the merrier. Yeah. Here I am up here talking about asking why are we not passing bills for emergencies and generating trillions of dollars of cash that needs to be created in order to fix these emergencies or even begin to fix them. I mean, the corona virus, all the money that was created for it, there was no plan that at the end everything was resolved. It's kind of like just taking it one step at a time as each day comes and adding it into the equation as far as determining what you do next. And we seem to still be there in that place, at least for some states. I'm here in California. I don't know what's going on in this state. I think for the most part, I mean, it seems like it's still kind of like the lockdown thing. You know, lots of places are closed. And that mask. Oh, that mask. I don't know what to say. I know my earlier videos, I was very pro-mask, I guess you'd say. Yeah. I understand the mask, what it's all about. That you are saving others. I mean, if you're sick with anything, you're lowering the chance of giving it to another, which I think is respectful. How can it not be? It is respectful. As far as this coronavirus thing, I think that there's just this other dynamic that's in play. And it has a lot to do with people, and I don't know. See, I don't even know if I want to bring it up. I'm funny when it comes to the mask. I get triggered, I guess, pretty easily by my visits to the stores. I don't like going to the store, first of all. I prefer not to. There's just always something's not the way it should be, I guess that's the easiest way to say it. And having the mask on and the breathing, it's not the same as breathing without a mask. Breathing is not the same. Okay? I don't care what you say. The mask is not natural. If it were, then we would be born with something, some kind of growth to provide that condition. No, we're not meant to wear masks. And my big thing is CO2. You're getting CO2. You're getting your CO2. You're rebreathing your CO2. Some of it. It's not all passing out of that mask when you breathe. It's the whole point. It's trying to keep things in. Carbon dioxide will get out. It just gotta push it out, which your breath exhaling does. Again, it's slower, it's forced, and you wind up in the process breathing CO2. That's just a fact. Again, I totally understand. If you're sick, wearing a mask, that makes sense. I don't know. There's too much confusion when it comes to this virus, like that Mr. Fauci man, the little guy, the short guy, the doctor. I mean, he talks about wearing masks, okay? And yet I watched a video of him at a baseball game. And then I heard him discussing that event that was captured. I don't know if he had watched it at that point or not, because it was video of the man sitting at a baseball game, just him and two others, one on each side. He's in the middle, and he's got his mask on, but it's pulled down, so he doesn't have a mask on for all purposes. It's serving no purpose in the position it's in. And he's having a conversation with the guy right next to him. And there's three chairs. There's no space in between the three chairs. They're right next to each other. And his response was that, well, you got to take your mask down to take a swig of water, to drink water. And that's exactly what he was doing. And yeah, it's all good. Stop moaning. Stop looking for things, basically, is what he's saying. Because he's doing it exactly what he should be doing. Yeah. I don't want to get into him or Mr. Bill Gates. I've mentioned them in previous streams. And I'm more than willing to answer if I were asked any questions pertaining to my thoughts on either of those two individuals, why I feel the way I do. I think they're lost souls myself. Both on power trips. One's more of a wannabe. Both are imposters. Look at my notes here. That was that scattered, and because I'm very scattered. And yeah, I jotted down insanity. It's insane right now. The Seattle mayor being gassed, out there protesting with the protesters peacefully. I am led to believe. I have to question that when the other element comes into play, and that being the tear gas. I can't imagine that it was being lobbied just for the hell of it. So I've been trying to imagine what it must have been like for the mayor. How did they receive that experience, being on the front line, so to speak? I personally think these mayors make no sense. Defund the police, let the protester, and they keep saying peaceful. That's like the biggest insult to my intelligence. When I am continually told peaceful protesters, and that's not the video that I'm seeing. I mean, this isn't Photoshop stuff. This isn't virtual rendering. This is real-time people in a real world that I'm fixed in, and they're not peacefully protesting. And to hear other than that is an insult. It blows my mind. This is a good point to mention that. This is the time. You gotta wake up, stand up, and speak up. Because you's not gonna have the time to do that in the very near future. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see censorship is on the rise. Media, corporations own more and more, and they make the decisions. They decide what you will be witness to via your boxes, your TVs, your headphones, what you listen to. They are deciding that. They own it. And they continue to own more and more and more. That's how it works. The more money you have, the more you make. And you get to a certain point where you you go beyond enough. You do. Unless you have aspirations of wanting to own it all, to control it all, that's the world we live in. It's all about control. As much as I can have, the more the better. Ooh-wee. Yeah. You know it. Money. Again, I'm going to say it again. Why isn't that we can pass bills, emergency, and create money out of thin air, give it away, but we can't do the same for all these other things that are going on? And I mentioned two big ones up there high on that top 5 list. What's the reason for not fixing those issues? Because I'm telling you that no matter how many generations into a future that we're to survive because of such an act as fixing an emergency that has been cast to the side for far too long, is going to be well worth it in their eyes. Money well spent. Gotta remember, whoever these people are of the future are not going to be living the life we live. The whole point of the future is to make a life that's better, easier, more fulfilling, more connected, right? Isn't it? So I imagine that if the future were to progress, that's the future I see. The only other future I see is no future, which we're right there hanging on that edge. We're on the precipice. Can go either way. Judging. You can judge all you want. So long as you remember that judging yourself is up there, it's on that same table at that same moment that you're judging another. All that you are is included in that that call that you're making. I hope people remember that. I want people to remember that. I think it's a good thing to remember and keep in place as you examine and take in the world around you, the situations, and try to make sense of them all. Okay. I don't want to go too long. Wow, I was going to try to go like 20 minutes, like 3 segments. That's because I wanted to kind of move on. Let me do that. Another one. I did want to mention the whole UFO thing. I keep saying that I think that that's a big part of what's going on, this unveiling. Let me just flash this on the screen real quick and mention it as I talk about the UFOs. There we go. Okay. Maybe I could even make it a little bigger. Oh, I want this one. I don't want to waste time on that. Anyway, this is from July 24th, 2020. This is from the LA, or KTLA down in Los Angeles. The news affiliate down there. Channel 5. And Pentagon to make UFO discoveries public. Now that's pretty bold thing to say. I listened to it. It's a minute and a half, and it's the couple of reporters. They're looking at this video and talking about it, like, what does this mean? Are they saying this is real? I think you should give it a look-see. Pretty easy to find there. You just type Pentagon, UFO, public. I'm pretty sure that'd probably pull it up. You'll see this KTLA, little minute and a half piece. So yeah, there they are. And I thought it was funny that this came out on a couple days ago, yesterday. And earlier, before I caught that it had been released, because I just found this out today, but yesterday I had mentioned to somebody about the UFO topic being a very big part of this, and how you have that whole Tic Tac video and the Pentagon and those videos, and how they recently, a few months back, acknowledged that those are videos that belong to the Pentagon, and they were officially acknowledging that. They don't know what they are. They can't tell you what's in those videos. They're UFOs for all practical purposes, and they do some pretty amazing maneuvers and move at speeds that, if you take all those variables into account, you cannot help but be left with the thought, at bare minimum, that we are not alone. Something's here. Somebody, someone is here. Then, a month or so after the Pentagon does that, you have an official inquiry from the House committee. I don't know who's all involved in that, but they're requesting from the Pentagon records. Hey, you just told us that these videos are real and this stuff is real. You don't know what it is, and you've been looking at this stuff for years now. I mean, you need to let us know. Let us know what. Release the information to us. This is a huge story. Like I said, it's a huge part of this unveiling, I guess. The veil is being lifted and we're seeing the truth. I think there's just so many lights shining on it too. From all directions. Okay. Well, I think it's been almost an hour and I'm starting to sweat here, so it's been fun. Here, how about I go over to, if I went to my YouTube, just to the YouTube page, first click what comes up, like my recommended and that kind of thing. I don't know what comes up when you click yours, but these are some recommendations for me. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff out there on YouTube. No shortage. So, thank you for coming here and spending a moment. Wanted to talk some about the music, but I hope you're listening to the music. It soothes the soul, and it just makes so much sense that on some level communication is occurring between me, whoever acknowledges this presence. So much comes from listening to the music. So many feelings beyond words. Anyway, thank you again. And thank you for spending the moment here, and hope you come back. Be well and smile.